All right, everybody, let's get started. Hello, and welcome to SKU Ninja plus White Spider's Turn Traffic into Sales webinar. This presentation is being recorded, and we will send out a link after it's complete so you can watch it over and over and over again because we know Phillip is going to do an amazing job and it's going to be full of amazing information. Please feel free to ask questions at any time using the Q&A module on your toolbar. But we will answer all the questions at the end. So you can ask questions at any time, but we reserve the time to answer them at the end of this presentation. And so now I'd like to introduce you to our presenter, Phillip Baker. Phillip has worked in sales, marketing, and analytics for 5 years, helping to build several startups into thriving businesses. As a solutions specialist at White Spider, Phillip has worked alongside category specialists, Walmart Labs teams, and experts in the supplier community to create a roadmap to success on Walmart.com and OPD. All right, Phillip, take it away.
Okay, I appreciate the intro, and thank you everyone for joining. We're really excited. I hope you have your popcorn and some sort of soda ready to go because we have a lot to talk about, and we're going to jump between some different topics. So I hope you're excited and ready to get in. So if we look back really quickly at this title screen here, the title of the webinar is Turn Traffic into Sales and how we do that. So we're going to primarily focus on the answer to turning traffic into sales, which is content. That's how we turn traffic into sales. But we're also going to touch on some changes that are going through Walmart right now and will really come into effect fully July 31st. And so even as we created this webinar and we're ready to kick things off, Walmart has been rolling out some new changes to their site. We want to make sure to educate and make sure everyone's on the same page about that as well. So with that being said, we are going to jump into the official webinar and presentation. So at SKU Ninja White Spider, and you've probably heard us say this 1,000 times, and if this is your first time, I'm excited to have you here. But for those of you who've been here for a while, we always talk about winning search and conversion. That really defines success for us at Walmart and in e-commerce in general. If you win search, your items show up in the algorithm, they show up in search, people can find you. If you win conversion, then when people land on that page, they're actually adding to cart. You're answering their questions, you're providing a solution, and they're adding to cart. And so what we're going to talk about today is kind of how content turns traffic into sales. And it all starts with conversion rate. So let's define conversion rate and SEO a little bit before we get too far into the content piece. So conversion rate, it's really simple. It's exactly what it sounds like, but it's essentially just a metric that measures how often a shopper purchases your item after visiting your page. So you know all about driving traffic to your page, but the traffic that's landing on your page, it's incredibly important that they're actually adding to cart and converting. The robots, the algorithms, all the things that are deciding where your items show up are looking at that conversion rate. So it's very important. The next piece to this is kind of how that conversion rate affects SEO. So oftentimes we talk about content in ways of, conversion and how to improve your PDP. That also affects your SEO. And SEO, for those of you who don't know, is just search engine optimization. This is organic. So basic content, enhanced content, things like that. So what we've seen, what we know about conversion rate is that highly converting item pages show up in the top of search results. That's been a kind of a fact, a piece of algorithms for a very long time. And so that's why it's important, not only from a sales standpoint, but also from showing up in search. The algorithm is looking for pages that convert at a high level. Now, our team is really focused on winning search, especially at Walmart. We work very hard to be a best-in-class offering for Walmart. Our partnership is with Walmart. That is our entire focus. And so a big part of that is winning search through SKU Ninja, and then also through some of the consulting that we do. We've just got some experts on the back end that decide and help us understand how to win search. And so that team over time has seen just the increased importance on conversion rate. And it's one of the most reliable ways to win high organic search rank. A lot of times today, what we're seeing is people are focused on driving traffic, especially paid traffic, before they've really built out these pages on Walmart.com or OPD. Before they've built them out with the right content, they drive a lot of traffic, but that actually decreases your conversion rate. So you have to be careful and kind of balance the chicken and the egg approach of making sure that you've got the right content on the page to convert at a high level so that that conversion rate goes up. So with that being said, let's move into kind of our next section here, which is how do you increase conversion rates? Now that we've kind of defined it, and I've talked a lot about content already, we're going to talk about some high quality content and kind of what that is defined as Walmart. So there are two main types of content. Walmart can be complex at times, as we all know. This is not that complex. This is pretty simple. So they have two ways to syndicate content today, two types of content that is being syndicated. You have your basic content and your enhanced content. And these both have huge impacts on conversion, as I'm sure many of you already know. So basic content, title, description, images, key features, specifications, attributes, all of that. Essentially everything that has to be on that page for it to be aligned with style guides, with Walmart content quality scores, which is a huge deal, especially today, as well as just the information needed for a shopper when they land on your page and they need to find the information to decide if they're going to add that to cart. So that's your basic content. And then enhanced content, Walmart defines that as rich media. That's kind of their module type, as they call it, is rich media, videos, 360 views, feature sets, comparison tables, etc. There's 7 different modules that show up on that .com page today, but that's your enhanced content. And between the two, basic content is actually tougher. There are more issues that impact basic content, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Enhanced content up to this point has been one of the easier things to syndicate, but some of those things are changing with the Walmart changes, as you can imagine. So we'll get into that a little bit later. So from a content standpoint, we want to talk about how this impacts conversion rate. So we've already kind of defined, okay, how do we turn traffic into sales? Well, we need to have better content, and we need to increase that conversion rate because that improves search and, of course, sales. So from a basic content standpoint, the reason it's so crucial is really from a discoverability standpoint. So I won't go into a ton of the details today, but the way the algorithms, the way the systems work at Walmart is really focused on content. Walmart's goal is to have the best content online from any retailer. They really want to be dominant. They want to be very successful. And that's why they push these content quality scores, these style guides. They align a lot of that with their discoverability. So for instance, right now, if you have content that's missing that doesn't align with your category or with your items, whether that's a title or backend attributes, there's no way to find your item in search. So you might have some great content there, or you might be driving traffic. But if I go to Walmart.com and I type in that shopping shopper bar there, something like coffee or cereal or whatever it is that I'm shopping for, if the path to get to your item is not clear and properly defined, that algorithm and the robots behind the scenes have no way of showing your item. So we call that just an item that's not discoverable. And usually your content quality score is a good indicator of whether or not your item is discoverable. So I know it's painful. Walmart's pushing higher content quality scores. Everybody's talking about that right now. But it really does impact your discoverability. And if your content score is 50% or 70% or 30%, whatever it might be, there's a good chance that today your item isn't discoverable on Walmart.com. And that could have a big impact on why you're not seeing sales. And even if you're driving traffic there, it could have an impact on why you're not converting at a high level. So basic content is crucial for discoverability. That's a key point here. Now, from an enhanced content standpoint, that drives conversion at a very high level. We're big on analytics and data. Everything we do at SKU Ninja White Spider, our goal is to prove it out. So we want to benchmark, we want to make changes, we want to provide software to suppliers. And then as you fix things and change things, we want you to see that in the bottom line. So higher search results, higher content quality scores, and then of course, higher conversion and sales. So a lot of our data that we've gathered and put together in case studies and things, we've seen that enhanced content can increase sales by up to 70%, which I know is a huge number. But even today, the rich media enhanced content on pages on Walmart.com, a lot of times differentiate between which pages are converting, which pages are not. And so that's kind of how enhanced content is seen. It's less of a search optimization, has less impact on telling the algorithm this is the page to see. But once someone lands on that page, it has a lot to do with them actually adding to cart and converting. And then there's a lot of compounding effects. And this is something that I really want to touch on and make sure that we kind of drive home today. So a lot of what you're doing right now from a content standpoint, from a traffic standpoint, whatever it is you drive people and try to align that content on your page to search algorithms and things like that. A lot of that's going to have an impact long term. So if we talk about conversion rate for a second, we talked a little bit about that before. That's something that, if you have one person, or let's say you have 10 people show up on your page, 8 of them convert, that's an incredibly high conversion rate. And that looks really good. Again, that algorithm, they're trying to push the best pages that actually convert, because that's what they want. That's the kind of the reflection Walmart wants to have with its shoppers. And so anything you do today, that has the potential of earning traffic and sales down the road. So a lot of times, like I mentioned before, people will increase traffic before they increase and improve content. But the reality is, what you want to do is make sure you have the right content on that page, so that as you start increasing traffic, your conversion goes with it. So now you have 100 people on your page and 80 of them converted, which is not only still a very high conversion rate, but it also aligns well with the amount of traffic, and it shows that algorithm, it shows shoppers that is a page that not only is easy to find, but also converts at a high rate, and that drives up SEO over time. So there's a lot of compounding effects of adding high quality content to your pages, and you kind of start this positive feedback loop by having great content, and then that algorithm deciding to show your content more often because people are converting on that page. That's why content is important. That's really how content specifically turns traffic into sales. Now, you can't talk about content without content publication issues. And we've got several things from a content standpoint we need to talk about today. So again, I want to lump those two contents kind of in two separate buckets. You have your basic content and your enhanced content. From a basic content standpoint, if I ask the question, have you had issues getting content to successfully publish on Walmart? You're probably going to say, or most of you are probably going to say, yes, I have run into that issue, or I'm dealing with it right now. So it may not be all that encouraging to hear that you're not alone, but at the very least, know that you aren't alone, and that this is a problem that we're working on daily, hourly, sometimes it seems like. So we can help with those content publication issues. So from especially a basic content standpoint, we have partnered with Walmart. Walmart is a phenomenal partner. We work very closely with them. But our goal here is that instead of you having to send 96 help desk tickets to Walmart, like we had one supplier do, that you could send one ticket through SKU Ninja to our team. Then our team can look at those items. We can see what's wrong. We can define if this is a merchant manual block or some other issue with syndication. We can then take that to Walmart and the teams we work with, and we have solutions and ways to do this with those different teams at Walmart. So we can do it a lot quicker, a lot more efficiently. We can also just tell you, hey, this is the problem and this is what we're doing to fix it. So we want to be that resource for you. We want to be in your corner as you fight through these content publication issues. And the reason we want to do that is, one, of course, because we're partnered with Walmart, but two, everything we've already covered. Content has such a big impact on conversion rate. Conversion rate has such a big impact on showing up in search. Showing up in search has such a big impact on sales, and then it comes full circle. So content's a key piece. We will help you get your basic content through. Now, from that, I'd like to shift to the changes that are happening at Walmart. And just before I do that, actually, let me just say, if you have content issues today and you're not currently working with us to get that fixed, send a help desk ticket if you're in SKU Ninja, or reach out. I think Brooke's got some access here, but reach out to us and let us know what's going on, and we can provide some of those solutions and let you know how we can help. You don't need to be fighting the content syndication issue alone. Let us be a resource in that. It takes time, and I know some of you who are currently working through it are still dealing with merchant manual blocks and others, but we do have solutions. It takes time, but we can help you get through that. Now, shifting over to Project Glass, and some of you have probably heard of Project Glass, whether it's from us or from Walmart, but this is going to change the future of content at Walmart. And so it's really important that we include this today on this webinar, since we're talking about content, conversion rate, SEO, and all of that. So for those of you who don't know, Project Glass is Walmart's initiative to shift from 2 sites, online pickup and delivery, walmart.com, into one site. In the long run, this is going to be a huge help. This is the goal with an omni-channel experience. We should all be excited about the potential of having this one site. But as you can imagine, with any change, there's always growing pains, and there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and a lot of content that will be impacted by this shift. There's a good chance, especially if you're in Northwest Arkansas, that you've probably already seen this happen. You may have pulled up your Walmart app or pulled up online and looked around trying to find your pickup and delivery side, and it wasn't there. And if that's the case, then you know a little bit about what's going on. But the two pictures we have on this screen are a good example. So the one in the back on the left here, you'll see in the top left-hand corner, pickup and delivery, Walmart.com. And then the one on the front facing here on the bottom right, this is what the new site looks like. And we've been analyzing it and looking at it for months now, but this is essentially what it's moving to. So it'll be a little bit cleaner. There'll be different ways to find your items, but whether it's a grocery item, a .com only item, an in-store only item, whatever that item is, it's now all going to show up under the same site, and you'll just search for it in different ways. So how will this affect content? Will this affect content? Yes, it will affect content. We've already been analyzing this for months and keeping up to kind of see how this is going to impact us. And so one big part of this, earlier I mentioned kind of our team that helps us understand search. That team is also closely monitoring the situation. They're developing ways, and have been for months now, to help Walmart suppliers make the transition successfully. So they are on top of it, and they're really the team that's helping drive our understanding of this new site and how it'll affect content. Right now, what we're seeing is the basic content will remain mostly the same. There may be a couple changes and couple unique things that might change when this new site rolls over on July 31st. But for the most part, your basic content stays the same. So all of the impacts that it has on SEO, all of the impacts that it has on conversion rate, those things are all just as important today as they will be in a month when this all rotates over. In fact, it'll be even more important because there's going to be more competition for search on this new site because everyone will be under that one umbrella. There are also going to be some fundamental changes to how search and results are gathered and displayed. So your search ranks, the algorithms, all of that is going to shift slightly. And with that, rich media is kind of basically going to go away until 2022. So right now, the new site, the things that are changing, search is changing, the search layout is changing. So your items where they show up today will probably not be the same under Project Glass. And then also the rich media aspect, that enhanced content aspect, is going away. So if you're hosting rich media with us today, we've sent out some emails to let you know, but it's not something we're going to charge you for. It's just simply going to be kind of paused. And then when things roll back in 2022, we're going to have a way to put all of that back up. So we'll hold on to that for you. That will be make things that much more important on the basic content side of things, to really make sure that you're answering questions that shoppers are asking in your description, your title, and your key features. It's going to become imperative, that much more important, to have great content and great ways of saying everything, great images on those product pages, now that it will be limited to the basic content. Now, when I say that search results are gathering and displaying differently, in-store and .com only items are now in kind of direct competition. What I mean by that is when somebody types in, bananas or coffee or whatever it is today, they're either searching on OPD, online pickup and delivery, or they're searching on .com, and they have these two different search grids. Because those two are coming together into one search grid, it's going to shift where things are showing up. And the good news is we're actually already able to see some of that. So we've actually built out a tool in SKU Ninja already called Search Snapshot. And what Search Snapshot does is it takes the top keywords in the category and it shows a daily competitive analysis, search analysis on who and what is showing up for those keywords in search today. What position? Are they organic? Are they paid? And kind of tells that story. So you'll notice on this screen, here in this picture, you see Walmart.com, and now you see Walmart Glass as well. So what I want to do is I want to give you an example of how things are changing by getting into SKU Ninja and showing you this tool. Before I do that, you'll see here, new site launches July 31st. So if I haven't already said that, I'll say it again. July 31st is when this officially rotates over. There's about 5%, I believe, of stores that are already starting the rotation. Like I said, you might see it on your app already. But this new site, Project Glass, this combination, July 31st, it's all going to roll over, and the old way of doing things will be different, and we'll be into the new site at that point. So let me stop sharing for a minute, and we're going to go over to SKU Ninja. And we're going to take a look at this new tool that we've created in SKU Ninja, so that you guys can understand and start to see where you're going to show up in this new site. So here we are in SKU Ninja. On the left, you see search optimization. You see search snapshot. That's what we're on right now. And then here in the middle, you see this report's from Walmart.com. It's for June 24th. The category is coffee pods. And here in the middle, these are all of the keywords that are being searched in this category. On the left, these are all the brands that are showing up for these keywords. There's quite a few. This is a very competitive category. And then on the right, you see positions 1 through 10 in search. So these are all of the items that are showing up. So you've got some paid sponsors here. You've got organic here as well. You've got branded keywords. You kind of have it all in this tool here. Now, what we've added is we've built out the ability to see, okay, that's Walmart.com today, but what is it on Walmart Glass? What's going to change? Where do my items show up today? So as an example, if I look at the keyword coffee pods, and I look over here, we've got some great value items. We've got Original Donut Shop, some more great value, Dunkin'. We've got a paid one here from Starbucks. This is kind of the layout on June 24th on the old Walmart.com, the current site. Now, if we look at the same category, coffee pods, on Walmart Glass, and we hit go here, what you'll see now is for coffee pods, Walmart Glass, a very different algorithm. You've got some paid positions here. You've got great value showing up farther down. You've got Dunkin' down here. Essentially, this whole layout of items has changed up. So it looks very differently than it did before. And so that's just an example of how the new site, the new algorithms, the new information is going to shift and change. And if you would like to get access to this to start to compare your search rank today versus where it's going to be, you can do that through this process. This tool, Search Snapshot, comes in the Blue Belt and SKU Ninja Elite. So if you already have access to it, you should be able to see that here. But if you don't, reach out to us, let us know, and we can get you access to this tool through SKU Ninja. And you can spend the next month in July and on kind of comparing the two and preparing for what's about to come.